Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH the Flame Emperor episode number 95 based on novel. So let's start. As for Kaylin, her face was calm, but in those beautiful eyes, she slowly stared at the 10-colored swallowing python with a gigantic body. Although the 10-colored swallowing python did not release its own breath, an invisible pressure still suppressed Kaylin, but it was not as strong as the 9-colored swallowing python. Although that little energy snake possesses the legendary power of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python, but for some reason, it has little effect on the color scale. Yep. Or what? The next moment, Kaylin's pupils suddenly became shocked. Then the 10-colored sky-swallowing python shone with 10-color power. The moment the power of 10 colors appeared, this space collapsed instantly. Give me a condensate. The mysterious woman snorted slightly, and this space was stabilized. Boom, boom, boom. The 10-colored sky-swallowing python burst out with aura, and then the monstrous 10-color power continuously gathered from the body to a light spot in front of her. Immediately after the 10-colored sky-swallowing python's huge 10-color power, the thing in the light spot seemed to be slowly taking shape. Cai Lin slowly moved her gaze upward. Suspended in the air was a drop of blood-red blood that was extremely demonic. The blood-red blood slowly lay flat in the void, and a power that trembled for the world instantly radiated from it. At the moment when this demonic blood-red blood appeared, whether it was Kaylin or the 9-colored sky-swallowing python who had already bowed down to his knees, the blood in his body instantly boiled, and then he was suddenly shocked. This is 10 colors swallowing the blood of the python? Kaylin's throat couldn't help rolling and jotting down, and then Bei's lips were a little dry. Time is running out, and I won't talk nonsense with you. I spent tens of thousands of years on your duty continent, and I met no less than hundreds of people with Medusa blood, but most of them only had Medusa blood, or some ancient serpent's impure blood. Power. You are the first woman I have met who has evolved into a 9-colored swallowing python and has the status of the Medusa royal family by relying on her own strength. I hope that this time I will entrust these things to you, and I will get some rewards in the future. There is something unpredictable in the mysterious woman's voice, and there is also a trace of sadness in her eyes, all of which are caught in Kaylin's eyes. What you see in front of you is the 10-colored sky-swallowing python. If you absorb this drop of blood, you will evolve into the legendary 10-colored sky-swallowing python. As for the 9-colored swallowing python that follows you, you cannot directly swallow the blood of the 10-colored swallowing python, otherwise it will explode and die. The best way is for her to swallow the energy of the 10-colored swallowing python. Little snake. As for the achievements of the two of you in the future, I don't dare to judge. Qianzhong Shitsai Tiantian Python said slightly. I wonder if the two seniors have something unspeakable. Although Cai Lin was extremely jealous of the blood essence of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python in front of her, she, who has always been careful, seemed to find out when the 10-colored sky-swallowing python was talking to the mysterious woman. Got some clues. Hehe, she's really a clever woman. Shitsai Tiantian Python swallowed a snake letter and said, "It was discovered by you, little guy." The mysterious woman released. Senior, feel free to speak. Cai Tun said respectfully. After all, no matter what, I and the mysterious woman in front of me with the power of the colorful swallowing python are of the same race, not to mention the blood essence of the colorful swallowing python and the energy snake, the value of which is immeasurable, so the color scale was exported. The Tiantian Python clan has been the leader in the world since ancient times. As for 1 to 10 colors, every evolution requires extremely terrifying blood or some strange energy. The peak one can cultivate is the 1-star fighting immortal. When you reach the peak of the 1-star fighting immortal, no matter how talented you are, you can't get any better. The way to solve this bottleneck is to evolve your bloodline. With Shutsai, you will be able to break through the Do Xian, enter the Do God, and step into the supreme realm. This is the horror of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python. An extremely proud breath emerged from the eyes of the mysterious woman. However, having a strong strength will attract the sanctions of heaven and earth and the jealousy of some people, so the number of our swallowing pythons is very small. Not to mention the 9-colored sky-swallowing pythons, there are even very few 7-colored sky-swallowing pythons. I remember that thousands of years ago, the Lord of the Demon Realm, for some unknown reason, led the entire Demon Realm powerhouse to attack our heaven-swallowing python clan. In which battle, our heaven-swallowing python suffered heavy casualties, and then the Lord of the Demon World took our body directly. It was transported back and imprisoned in the center of the Demon World, which seems to be used for. Our current state is also a part of the power that escaped by chance. If you want to recover my family of swallowing pythons, You must go to the center of the demon world. My dignified and colorful body of swallowing python can't allow the master of the demon world to be so blasphemous. A terrifying aura instantly emerged from the mysterious woman. Although this road is not easy, but, to recover the Qiantian Python clan, leave it to me, Kaelin said slightly. As Kaelin's words fell, the three people in the space all gave him unusual eyes. Since the nine-colored sky-swallowing python is the companion spirit snake of Kaelin, it is very clear about Kaelin's character, but it is clear that Kaelin's determination can be made to make such a decision. Why are you staring at me? Since these two seniors have given me such a big gift, then I can't be a white-eyed wolf. After all, he doesn't always say that no merit is not rewarded. Kaelin said slightly, and then in his mind, an indomitable expression appeared. The figure of a man with a heavy ruler on his back slowly emerged. Cai Lin has enough confidence that after he absorbs the blood essence of the 10-color swallowing python this time, his strength will increase by leaps and bounds. On the Dochi continent, Kaelin was very dissatisfied because she couldn't help Xiao Yang and could only be a good wife and mother at home, because the identity of the Medusa royal family that came from the depths of her soul made Kaelin a little proud. But you have to remember that if you are not at the level of 5-star fighting immortals, don't go to the demon world easily. The relationship among the 7 worlds is inherently complicated. As long as our bodies are freed, we can also be reborn by some means in an instant. At that time, the demon world, our new hatred and old hatred will be counted together. The mysterious woman snorted coldly. At this time, the 4 people in the space seemed to have reached a certain consensus, and then smiled at each other. Start absorbing, it should take a long time, the mysterious woman said slightly. The next moment, the 10-colored swallowing python directly turned into a meteor, and then went madly towards the 9-colored swallowing python. With the influx of these 10-colored energy snakes, the 9-colored swallowing python found that his breath and even his soul were constantly changing. Once it is completely integrated, then the 9-colored sky-swallowing python can also leap over the dragon gate and become the 10-colored sky-swallowing python beast. Since that's the case, I can't take it lightly. Having glanced at Xiao Ju, who had already begun to absorb and fuse, Kaelin slightly held the 10-color swallowing python's blood in his hand, and then murmured, Xiao Yang, your life is a matter of course. The king's. Whether it's Dochi continent or Dodi continent, it's just that Kaelin didn't notice the light from the soul jade she carried with her at this time. It looks like this. It is astonishing that Xiao Yang is nearby. After Kaelin finished speaking, she instantly absorbed the blood of the 10-color swallowing python. In the mysterious space at this time, 2 huge snake shadows and 2 human female figures slowly stand up. The souls of Kaelin and Jotsai swallowing python are slowly improving their fighting chi strength. I don't know if I can break through Do Xian with this blood essence. I remember that among the Medusa clan of Shentian Santian, there has never been a snake man fighting immortals, let alone a snake man with the identity of the royal family of Medusa. The mysterious woman said slightly, Queen, it's time for us to go, we have to find other clansmen scattered all over the place. The 10-colored swallowing python on the side said respectfully, Well, let's go. I hope my entrustment this time will be successful. Master of the demon world, I don't know why you attacked our swallowing python clan in the first place, but the feud of extermination of the clan is undeniable. After the mysterious woman finished speaking, the power of the surrounding space emerged, and then the space wriggled, and the 10-color swallowing sky beside her the python instantly disappeared into this space. With the disappearance of one person and one beast, this space is returning to calm. In the depths of the lonely desert of death, the temperature is extremely hot. If there is not enough water to support, even the strong Dodi can't support it for long. After all, there are some very special powers in the depths of the lonely desert of death, which makes the strong Do Emperor unable to absorb it. Heaven and earth Do Chi replenishes itself. A group of 7 people slowly appeared in the depths of the lonely desert of death. His grandmas, how can a pharmacist have better physical strength than me? Isn't it because pharmacists focus on refining medicine, so they are all delicate and expensive? Damn! The scarred man whispered in surprise, and then quickly chased after him. In front of the scarred man, there was a man with a huge heavy ruler on his back. A milky white flame continued to emerge from the man's body. The flame formed an invisible defense around the man, isolating the scorching temperature around him. So even if the temperature in the depths of this desert of death is extremely high, there is no obstacle to this man. The scarred man was instructed by the head of the Bloodblade Mercenary Corps to protect Xiao Yang. If the alchemist had any shortcomings, then he would never be able to eat and walk around. With the temper of the head, the scarred man was there. Clearly, Brother Xiao Yang, go slower. Behind Xiao Yang, the man with scars said, panting. After all, I promised you to cooperate this time, and I have to show the corresponding strength. It just so happens that my soul is powerful, so it's better to give you the lead here. Xiao Yang smiled slowly. Next to Xiao Yang, Xiao Yi and Mu Yingying also nodded slightly. Xiao Yang was not stunned, but he wanted to take the lead. On the one hand, the strange fire spread from his body, and on the other hand, he was afraid that these 4 people would trap them, so he had to guard against it. Brother Xiao Yang is really polite. These things, let us come, otherwise we will have to rely on Brother Xiao Yang when we reach our destination. The scarred man smiled, but the implication was that obviously not. No need, there are many dangers here, it's better for me to start, and I don't care about the consumption of soul power. Xiao Yang said indifferently. If this son is to stand out in the future, he must be the overlord of one party. This boldness and courage. The scarred man admired Xiao Yang in his heart. After all, since he entered the desert of death, he has received a lot of care from Xiao Yang, so the scarred man also felt a little warmth in his heart. The crowd walked slowly, but when the crowd was walking, they were 7 kilometers away, but some snake people discovered Xiao Yang and 7 people. A small snake emerged from the desert and headed towards a certain woman's hand. This little snake is like an intelligence agent spying on intelligence. Since returning to the woman's hands, the woman's snake pupil has become slightly puzzled. Captain, it seems that there is a human breath intruding around our temple. Do we want it? It was a very enchanting woman who was talking. The woman's clothes only covered some of her important parts, as for the attractive waist of the water snake. And the beautiful legs like jade appeared slowly, and there was no doubt that there was a charming aura on this woman. As for the person who spoke to the charming woman, it was actually the blue and white snake holding the 3-colored cauldron of Qingyang furnace in his hand. Yep. Recently, our Medusa family is in troubled times, so just kill it. The blue and white snake said casually, but the shocking killing intent in his voice suddenly radiated around him. My subordinates know. After the enchanting woman finished speaking, she took the 2 women who were following the blue and white snake and walked directly towards Xiao Yang's place. Let's go, too, the temple of Medusa is also nearby. Blue and white snake had a monstrous killing intent at first, but the next moment he said to LV Flute and Mu Feng. A mysterious human being. Didn't Xiao Yang say that he was going to gather in the desert area? It shouldn't be them. Green Flute said slightly. Senior, do you know where the desert area is? Mu Feng said, but Mu Feng remembered clearly that Xiao Yang asked them to gather in the desert area. A desert area. The desert area is actually on the opposite side of our Medusa family's temple, and the 2 are only a few hundred meters away, which is extremely close. But where are the 3 dangerous places in the desert of death? Even if it's me, I wouldn't dare to enter the place rashly hungry. What are you doing? Qing Hua said at the end, and there were obviously other flavors in his voice. The ancients have an appointment. Green Flute said casually. Since that's the case, then you should be more careful, and you will be separated from each other when you arrive at the temple. Otherwise, without me, it would be difficult for ordinary people to approach the temple, and there are many structures around the temple. Blue and white snake said with a smile. Let's go then. Green Diane gave a sigh, then opened his mouth and walked towards the temple of Medusa not far away. Although I don't know the exact location of the Medusa temple, as a green flute with the blood of the snake people, I also want to know the location of the Medusa temple. A group of 11 people slowly appeared in the desert, which was dozens of miles away from Xiao Yang and the others. With the appearance of this huge team, an air of fear in the desert suddenly evaporated. According to the memory of Mai Yi in the charming snake tribe, the temple of the Medusa family should be here. Among the 11 people, a figure stepped forward slightly, and then said, Drug Corps, are you sure it's here? The Xianling king wearing expensive golden clothes said hesitantly. Obviously, with the Xianling king's perception, he didn't feel the slightest bit of strangeness. You can't be wrong, which I use to probe memory is a pretty good method. The Corps said with certainty. What Yaroshin said should be right. Yi Mo, who was beside him, looked around at the empty desert around him. Then where is the temple of the Medusa family? At this time, many people in the dragon-loving legion felt strange, so they all had this idea in their hearts. Sometimes, what the eyes see is not necessarily true. Qin Tian, the head of the dragon-loving legion, slowly opened his eyes, and then said vicissitudes of life. What the eyes see is not necessarily true. After Qin Tian finished speaking, the Xianling king's eyes twitched slightly, and an extremely terrifying thought was brewing in his heart. Could it be? The next moment, King Xianling also seemed to know what Uncle Qin Tianhuang meant, and then he waved 4 energy drills and attacked his body. The 4 waves of energy containing terrifying fluctuations attacked the south, east, and northwest. Among the 4 energies attacking the south, north, and west, 3 of them flew endlessly toward the desert in 3 directions, and only one of the energies facing the north disappeared strangely. I found it. Upon seeing this, King Xianling exuded some extremely hot fluctuations in his pupils, and then smiled slowly. Let's go. Seeing this, Yimo nodded slightly, and then opened his mouth to everyone. Let's go. Seeing this, many strong men also responded to Yimo slightly, then raised their footsteps and walked towards the depths. It seems a little strange here. The lone wolf, who had always been silent, stared hesitantly at the desert road in front of him. For some unknown reason, an abnormality emerged from under the sand. That feeling, as if there is something under the front. At this time, Tang Tang, the coyote and the lone wolf are all at the back of the team. Lone wolf. What's the matter? Tang Tang, who was on the side, noticed the strangeness of the lone wolf, and then she became a little vigilant in her voice, and said after looking around constantly, "Something is approaching. Be vigilant, vigilant, vigilant." The next moment, Lone Wolf shouted abruptly. At the same time, a huge vindictive aura emerged from the body instantly, alerting him to the danger of breakthroughs around him at any time. Although this lone wolf doesn't have a huge soul power, its sensing ability is quite good, and it can actually find such obscure things. Xiao Yang, who was at the head of the team, said in surprise. The desert in front of the 7 people did have some other abnormalities, but Xiao Yang wanted to see what it was, so he didn't make a sound to remind everyone, but it was still discovered by the lone wolf, and Xiao Yang was also slightly concerned about it. Shock. The next moment, the desert in front of the 7 people wriggled violently, introduced into the territory of the Medusa family without authorization. Kill Wuxia. A cold hum slowly came from all directions, and then in the desert in front of Xiao Yang and the others, the sand flowed, revealing 3 snake men with graceful curves. A 7-star fighting emperor and 2 6-star fighting emperors. Tang Tang's always calm face appeared a little dignified. Obviously, the pressure these 3 snake people put on Tang Tang is not ordinary. On the other hand, Tang Tang's lineup on their side, an 8-star fighting emperor, a 7-star fighting emperor, 2 6-star fighting emperors, and 3 5-star fighting emperors, this is the case, but Tang Tang's pretty face is dignified but does not reduce any points. Although Tang Tang's lineup is stronger than those of the 3 snake people, it has not yet reached its goal. In order to preserve power, Tang Tang will not rashly dispatch all power. After all, this is among the Medusa clan. If the fight attracts other powerful snake people, then the result of the group will only be more miserable. The 3 snake men were the 3 guards who had just left from the blue and white snake. Just after the 3 snake men finished speaking, they suddenly moved, and then the high speed of movement stirred up the desert. With the speed generated by this height, the sand in the desert was driven up, and a terrifying hurricane mixed with yellow sand was slowly forming. If I expected it well, these 3 should be Medusa snake guards. Tang Tang snorted slightly, the vindictiveness on his body slowly exuded, and then surprisingly did not use all his power. The breath that came out was only the initial stage of the 7-star Dodi. Medusa snake guard. Mu Yingying heard some surprises in her beautiful eyes. Yes, the Medusa snake guard is said to be a team that surpasses the entire Medusa's 9 tribes. It is said that its captain is a dangerous person with the strength of the 9-star Dodi. As for the snake guard among the Medusa snake guards, its strength is above the 6-star Do Emperor, and if the team leader is the least powerful, it is also the 7-star Do Emperor. Looking at the formation of these 3 people, it should be a squad leader and 2 snake guard. Tang Tang slowly said. Do you need our help? Xiao Yi on the side said. No need for now, my team and I will deal with them. Once you get out of their tracking, leave immediately, the desert area will be here soon. After Tang Tang finished speaking, he glanced at Xiao Yang who was not far away, wondering what he was thinking. Strange, the soul power of this snake guard team leader is a bit terrifying. He actually entered the Emperor realm. I think he is also an excellent existence among Medusa snake guards. At the moment when the enchanting woman appeared, Xiao Yang was also already discovered. But this Tang Tang seems to be a woman, but she really deserves to be the head of the Bloodblade Mercenary Corps. This combat experience is so rich. Xiao Yang admired Tang Tang's arrangement. In this situation, the 3 5-star fighting emperors became a burden. Coyote Lone Wolf, fight quickly. Wu Yu, protect him. You too, act accordingly. Tang Tang snorted lightly, his body filled with aura, and a terrifying wave slowly appeared on his body. In the early stage of the 7-star Do Emperor and the 2 6-star Do Emperors, they were successful. But the power of flame on that handsome man was extraordinary, and it actually made me feel secretly uneasy in my body. It's just strange, the man behind the back actually has a somewhat familiar aura. Among the 3 snake men, the very enchanting Snake Guard team leader moved his red lips slightly before speaking. Squad leader, let's start, make a quick decision and then go to support Lord Blue and White Snake. After all, Lord Blue and White Snake also said that it's not very peaceful recently. Another snake man said. The Snake Guard team leader agreed softly, and then the 3 suddenly stopped their pace, but with the monstrous aura created by the 3 of them earlier, there was a huge 100 jong line beside Xiao Yan and the others. Hurricane is coming. The yellow desert accompanied by the hurricane is extremely terrifying. If you are involved in it, I am afraid that you will peel off your skin if you don't die. The next moment, the Snake Guard squad leader among the 3, closed his eyes, and then gently scratched his jade-like white and flawless skin, and a drop of bright red blood dripped directly down. Then, just as it was about to drip onto the front, the Snake Guard squad leader Jade Hand instantly grabbed and waved it hard. Immediately, the blood flew towards the Baijong hurricane. With the injection of this drop of blood, the color of the Baijong hurricane became extremely strange. From the yellow sand at the beginning to the current emerald color, in the emerald-colored 100 hurricane, a dangerous wave of terror containing a deadly poisonous miasma slowly appeared in front of everyone. With the injection of this venom, Xiao Yang could feel that under the high-speed rotation of the hurricane, an extremely dense poisonous miasma constantly invaded their only 100 meters of space. Once this poisonous miasma fills the space they are in, plus the 3 snake guards, I am afraid that Xiao Yang's situation will be extremely bad. Not good. Tang Tang's eyes were sharp, and just saw the Medusa Snake Guard team leader put his blood-containing deadly venom into the Baijong hurricane. A shuddering feeling was born from the bottom of my heart. Tang Tang took down the mask that covered his appearance, let out a coquettish anger, and increased his speed to the extreme. Then, with the fierce fighting spirit of the monstrous 7-star Do Emperor in the early days, he ignored the Medusa Snake Guard team leader. However, Tang Tang and the 3 snake guards are a lot of distance away. Even if Tang Tang reacts extremely quickly, after launching the offensive, the terrifying Emerald Hurricane has already taken shape. Protect the squad leader. The other 2 Medusa snake guards saw this, looked at each other, and their green grudges emerged, and then tried to resist Tang Tang's offensive. In Tang Tang's original 100 Jong emerald-colored hurricane, a surprising scene appeared. Just when Tang Tang's speed increased to the extreme, he came 1 meter away from the hurricane, facing the fierce hurricane. It seems that Tang himself can be torn apart in just 1 click, but the next moment, Tang Tang's whole body exudes a dazzling white light. After a breath of this white light appeared, Tang Tang broke out from the emerald hurricane poisonous miasma, and the jade hand lifted up instantly, and then the ring finger in the jade hand was light on the Medusa Snake Guard squad leader. Just a finger. With Tang Tang's finger, on the jade hand, a 100 Jong white finger light suddenly emerged. The white finger light was like a ray of dawn in the dark night, and it slashed directly from the sky to the 3 Medusa serpent guards who were on the deep ground. Humph, it's too late. Just when this huge force of destruction appeared dozens of meters beside the Medusa squad leader, the pupils of the Medusa Snake Guard squad leader who had been closing his eyes suddenly opened, a huge power of soul suddenly appeared, and then instantly hit the finger of Tang Tang's 100 Fi. Soul strength. Tang Tang couldn't help but whispered, and then just wanted to strengthen his offensive, but found that his offensive was being destroyed by the Medusa Snake Guard squad leader with a devastating momentum. What an annoying soul force. But I'm leaving, there are so many obscure old monsters here. Tang Tang snorted coldly, and then a white and transparent aura emerged from his body, followed by a rather delicate scroll. The scroll was covered with some extremely mysterious runes. Ordinary people could see the slightest difference, but at the moment when the scroll appeared, Xiao Yang's pupils shrank in the distance, and a shocked voice was heard into the space surrounded by hurricane. One-time fighting skill scroll? I didn't expect the head of the regiment to even take out this thing. This thing cost us a lot in the beginning. If it wasn't for time, I'm afraid the head of the regiment would not use it rashly. But if we use this thing here, I'm afraid we will have a hard time in the future. The coyote and the lone wolf said slowly. Don't worry, I think the head of the regiment should have her plan. The man with scars slowly stood 3 meters away from Xiao Yang. One-time fighting skill scroll? What is that? Mu Yingying looked at the scroll slowly exuding terrifying power in Tang Tang's hands, her eyes moved. A one-time fighting skill scroll is a scroll with a certain fighting skill power. The production of this kind of scroll is quite troublesome, but it is somewhat miraculous to use it in some places with strong restriction. A fighting skill scroll, to put it bluntly, is to store a certain fighting skill in a special scroll with special power, and then use it in times of crisis, with unexpected effects. Just like the terrifying finger that Tang Tang launched just now, it can all be recorded on the fighting skill scroll. Xiao Yi said. There's actually such a thing. Mu Yingying was slightly surprised, then looked at Xiao Yang beside her. For some unknown reason, Mu Yingying seemed to feel some strange fluctuations in Xiao Yang's body. Such fluctuations started from the soul attack from the Medusa Snake Guard team leader. Is this Medusa Snake Guard's brain flooded? How can this bit of soul power be able to beat Tang Tang who hides his strength? But why does it make me feel a tremor? Xiao Yang stared at the few people fighting outside the hurricane, and then the dark pupils flickered slightly. This is not pure soul power. At the next moment, a wave of terror poured into my heart. That thing can't beat the Snake Guard squad captain. Let your captain come back. The next moment, Xiao Yang suddenly shouted. Although Xiao Yang didn't know what kind of terrifying fighting skills were in the fighting skills scroll in Tang Tang's hand, Xiao Yang, with his powerful perception, felt a surge of soul power from the Snake Guard team leader. Extremely terrifying fluctuations. The fluctuation even caused Xiao Yang's soul power to slightly vibrate. Captain, come back soon. The scarred man hesitated for a while, but he still chose to believe in Xiao Yang. After all, Xiao Yang's small actions along the way were also taken into consideration by everyone. He opened his mouth, his grudges gathered, and then he suddenly faced Tang Tang. Speak up. What's the matter? When Tang Tang just took out the one-time fighting skill scroll to get rid of the Snake Guard squad leader, Xiao Yang and Wu Yu's shouts appeared, and then Tang Tang glanced at the three Snake Guards unwillingly. Then turn around and run. Boom boom boom. The soul force of the Snake Guard team leader hit the Emerald Hurricane, sparks scattered, and the momentum was menacing. Damn it. How could she be discovered? The Snake Guard team leader gnawed his teeth, and then the invisible soul power instantly hit the emerald-colored hurricane. Boom boom boom. A terrifying energy ripple overflowed from the center of the explosion, constantly bursting out with sparks all over the sky. With the appearance of this energy ripple, everyone felt a shudder in their heart. Soul attack. This Medusa Snake Guard squad leader is really terrifying. Xiao Yang found that the energy ripple did not disappear, but attacked the seven of them at an extremely terrifying speed. Huangquan's anger. A roar suddenly emerged from the poisonous miasma, and then abruptly resisted the energy ripples. Bang bang bang. The energy ripples touched Xiao Yang's Huangquan's anger abruptly, and then slowly dissipated. Humph. It's bad for me. The Snake Guard team leader outside the hurricane was surprised, and then his eyes went directly into the poisonous miasma. The attack of his soul just now, but the powerhouse that was enough to threaten the 7-star Do Emperor, was actually cracked by such a kid. Xiao Yang, thank you. Seeing this, Tang Tang understood why Xiao Yang was so shocked just now. If you are hit by that soul power, it will have a huge impact on yourself. It even affects the purpose of this time. With Tang Tang's retreat, Xiao Yang and his party returned to the hurricane. At this time, the emerald-colored hurricane was already as large as 100 feet, and its momentum was so turbulent that I am afraid that with the strength of Tang Tang 8-star Do D, I would not dare to resist it. The hurricane has been filled with poisonous miasma and we were surrounded. Xiao Yang looked around the situation of his group and then said solemnly, "Is there a way to break through? The destination is getting closer and closer, we can't stay with these monsters for a long time." On Tang Tangyu's hand, a very bright fighting spirit slowly condensed, and then put away the fighting skill scroll. Then he turned his head and asked Xiao Yang, "Give me some time, this Medusa Snake Guard squad leader is a strong person with a strong soul." Xiao Yang said solemnly. Just after finishing speaking, Xiao Yang immediately closed his eyes and worked hard to condense the soul power in his body, and a terrifying fluctuation emerged spontaneously. She must be stopped, otherwise once Xiao Yang fails, our trip will be in a state of doom. Tang Tang's face was solemn, even with her 8-star Do Emperor level strength. In the depths of this hurricane full of poisonous miasma, a chill rushed into my heart. Let's go too. Wu Yu, protect Xiao Yang. The two coyotes also realized the seriousness of the matter, and immediately followed Tang Tang to prepare to break through this poisonous miasma, and then went to the Medusa squad leader. "Captain, these people, not easy. You can actually resist your soul attack." The two snake guards next to the snake guard captain said in surprise. "That little guy with a heavy ruler on his back doesn't seem to be easy." The Snake Guard squad leader's red lips pursed into a charming arc, and then said slowly, "A terrifying crisis fills the air. You two, grab that guy with a heavy ruler on his back for me." The next moment, the Snake Guard team leader spoke slowly, and the unquestionable coercion in that voice instantly made the two Snake Guards surrender slightly. "But, Captain, the other humans belong to a 7-star Do Emperor and 2 6-star Do Emperors, so it would be too dangerous?" One of the Snake Guards asked worriedly. "I can handle it." A cold snort emanated from the Snake Guard squad leader. "Let's go." The two Snake Guards also understood that the pride of the team leader was not easy to question, and they looked at each other immediately, then turned into two rays of energy, and walked away to the few people in the deep poisonous miasma. It's just that when the two Snake Guards came into contact with the emerald-colored hurricane, there was no difference at all, as if they were passing through the water with ease. "It seems that there should be some secrets on them. Brother Wu Yu, are the two Snake Guards in the late 6-star Do D? Do you have a good grasp?" Xiao Yang turned his head and said to the scarred man, "It's easy to defeat them, but it's a little harder to catch them. After all, this is a desert, and for these snake people living in the desert, it's like a duck in water. And I also have to protect one of you. Cough, cough, if there are 3 of you, you won't have much control." The scarred man thought carefully and then said, "You don't need to worry about the 3 of us, you just need to concentrate on dealing with those 2 Snake Guards." Xiao Yang said softly, but he did not hesitate at all because of the words of the scarred man. After all, the scarred man was also trying to protect Xiao Yang and the others. "As for the poisonous miasma and the hurricane, leave it to me," Xiao Yi said cheerfully, and then took a step directly, a flame burning in her eyes. "Don't reveal your strength," Xiao Yang said softly. "Yes," Xiao Yi replied, then jumped up directly, hovering above the air, and an extremely hot flame was continuously released from her body. With the emergence of Xiao Yi's flame power, many people found some clues. Why is the power of flame on Xiao Yi similar to the power of flame on Xiao Yang? Is it an illusion? Mu Yingying raised her head slightly and looked at Xiao Yi. The flame on this human body is definitely not simple. The red lips of the Snake Guard squad leader on the side moved slightly, and a voice came out. Since that Xiao Yi took off into the sky, in the hurricane that was already covered with poisonous miasma, the poisonous miasma was slowly forced back a lot, obviously because he was afraid of the power of flames on Xiao Yi. "You better take care of yourself." At the next moment, a cold snort appeared beside the Snake Guard team leader. With the appearance of this voice, 3 completely different forces appeared beside the Snake Guard team leader: a white vindictive, a silver vindictive, a green vindictive. The white fighting chi with a ferocious momentum approached the Snake Guard squad leader. As for the silver fighting chi, it was filled with the power of lightning, and traces of lightning were constantly flowing. Obviously, the destructive power was amazing. As for the green grudge, it has a very flexible feeling, constantly restraining the whereabouts of the Snake Guard squad leader. The tacit understanding of the 3 of you, the combination of terror and the power of the 3, is worth fighting against the powerhouses in the early days of the 8-star Do D. The Snake Guard team leader said as he retreated. The movement of this Medusa Snake Guard squad leader is really terrifying. He can actually turn a hidden power 8-star Do Emperor and 2 6-star Do Emperor around. Xiao Yang said slightly. Just when Xiao Yang was paying attention to the Tang Tang people in the battle, the other 2 Medusa Snake Guards suddenly appeared in the poisonous miasma, and then condensed dozens of feet in front of them. The giant energy snake opened its huge mouth, revealing its extremely sharp fangs, and roared towards Xiao Yang and the others. "Really think I don't exist?" Facing the attack of the giant energy snakes, the scarred man snorted coldly, letting the latter cold air appear, and instantly smashed the 2 giant energy snakes away. "Ice attribute vindictiveness," the 2 Medusa Snake Guards suddenly exclaimed when they saw this. "I didn't expect this scarred man to hide so deeply." Ordinary people's fighting chi all belong to the 5 attributes of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Although some new attributes have been born with the continuous research of human beings on fighting chi, this ice attribute is extremely rare. Here, this ice attribute has a lot of advantages over snake people, it's just the desert here. Xiao Yang's analysis was straightforward. Seeing this, the 2 Snake Guards bit their lips, and then their speed skyrocketed, attacking Xiao Yang from left to right. "You really don't take me seriously," the scarred man snorted coldly, and then a terrifying ice-cold fighting spirit emerged instantly. When this icy fighting chi emerged, many ice threads appeared on the scarred man's body. Xiao Yang also felt that the surrounding temperature had suddenly dropped a lot, obviously because of the vindictiveness of the scarred man. Boom boom boom. The two snake guards are worthy of being the elite troops of the Medusa clan. They came to face Xiao Yang, and they kept changing their whereabouts along the way, leaving the scarred man nowhere to attack. Finger of Bing Tian, the scarred man shouted loudly, and then the icy aura that slowly surrounded his body suddenly gathered at his fingertips. With a sound of bang, an earth-shattering gleam instantly appeared on the scarred man's finger. Jimong just appeared, ice cubes continued to emerge around it, and white chills kept attaching to it, and then the sky-shattering Jimong rushed towards one of the two snake guard. As for the other, the scarred man moved his figure instantly and attacked the other. The strength of this man with a scar is not to be underestimated. Xiao Yang said slowly, and then stared at several battles. Boom boom boom. As the main attack, Tang Tang has been attacking, but what makes Tang Tang quite uncomfortable is that whenever he is about to attack the Snake Guard squad leader, an invisible soul force can always be in crisis. It appeared at all times, so Tang Tang was quite puzzled. As for the Coyote and the Lone Wolf, the two cooperated with Tang Tang to attack the Snake Guard squad leader. Damn human beings, actually so strong. If I continue to squander like this, I'm afraid that the soul power in my body will be exhausted by these people, and then I will be in trouble. Let's withdraw first. At the next moment, although the pride of the team leader was extremely unacceptable, the Snake Guard team leader found that they were already at a disadvantage at this time. Miserable. Just when the Medusa Snake Guard team leader hesitated, a shocking explosion sounded in the sky, and then the emerald-colored hurricane was like a piece of white paper, and it was instantly burned or burn. Retreat. Medusa Snake snorted coldly, and then looked at the few people in front of him unwillingly. Shabu Shabu. Medusa's team leader was extremely fast, and Tang Tang and several others also had reservations, so they didn't pursue them deeply. As for the other two snake guards, one was already in a state of embarrassment under the scarred man's terrifying fingers, and some ice threads on his body were looming, revealing some extremely attractive parts. Let's go. The other snake guard's breath suddenly soared, and then he broke free from the attack of the scarred man in an instant, and directly took those snake guards into a snake shadow and escaped from here. Come on. Someone's here. Xiao Yang shouted suddenly, and without hesitation, he immediately went deeper. Seeing this, the others were puzzled, but they followed Xiao Yang's pace the next moment. After all, many people had reservations about this battle, so they didn't use much power. I heard that the Temple of Medusa is near the desert. I hope there will be no strong snake people. Tang Tang said slightly, then moved his pace and disappeared here. With the departure of everyone, this space returned to calm, but some poisonous miasmas and flames were still slowly burning and floating. This video will end here.